Legacy is a format with a lot of old cards, and when something new comes along, there's always potential to send the format into flames. Today's combo is with Worldgorger Dragon. If we return it from the graveyard to the battlefield with Animate Dead, Worldgorger Dragon will exile all permanents we control. But as the Animate Dead is exiled by this trigger, we must then sacrifice the dragon, triggering its next ability to return all the exiled cards from the graveyard to the battlefield. This returns the Animate Dead to reanimate the dragon again, and we can loop this as many times as we want. What's powerful about this loop is paired alongside any card that has an enter the battlefield trigger, we can do it infinite times. So Orcish Bowmaster is the perfect combo finisher, while also just being a great 2-drop in any format right now, and it's just a win con. To assemble this combo, we have many ways to both cheat on mana to make sure we can do it as soon as turn 1, and we also have alternate win conditions in case the dragon isn't good enough or our draw doesn't line up correctly. This list is a giant mess, but stick around and watch this video because it can do some crazy kills. Round 1 starts off great, but that's not because we get to assemble the combo. With Chrome Mox in our opening hand, we can use it to pitch the Agadeem's Awakening. As I want to play around the opponent having a wasteland, I get to cycle the Troll. The Troll is a great addition to the format. This lets us search for either a blue source for the 1 of Echo of Eons, or the Scrub lands so that we can cast the Serenities in sideboard games. Not only that, it's just a great creature to reanimate if we need to beat down the opponent. Now we get to use Thoughtseize on the opponent, we see that they have a wasteland so we're rewarded for getting basic swamp instead of playing the Scrubland, and now we can play the Swords to Plowshares, follow up the Shieldred, and with the opponent not having an answer to the Shieldred, as well as finding the One Ring off the top of the deck, it was an easy win. Going into boarding, I brought in 2 Snuff Out for a Shieldred and a Cabal Therapy. I'm gonna be honest, I'm gonna save you time on this earth. I'm here to display the combo of this deck, and all I've done in games 1 and 2 is play Shieldreds and One Rings and Orcish Bowmasters to win the match. Not interesting, let's actually watch a combo. To start off the next round, we have a great opening hand, but my opponent reveals Gyruda, Doom of Depths in their Companion Zone. I'm not entirely sure what this deck is, as I haven't seen it in Legacy before, so let's see what they're gonna do. They just start off with an Ancient Tomb and an Azorius Signet, so I'm really not afraid of what they can do. So I can just play my Underground Sea, pass back the turn, and hold up both Entomb and the Troll to potentially win next turn. But the opponent has a very explosive draw, multiple 0-drops and a Karn the Great Creator. I'm very worried that they're going to get a Graveyard Hate spell here, but as all I've done is play an Underground Sea, they just minus their Karn to get a Lionside Diamond. It's definitely hard to put me on Reanimator with just an Underground Sea, especially with how popular Doomsday is and some Delver decks do play 1 Underground Sea. Anyways, here, we can now kill the opponent if they don't have a counterspell, which would be very unlikely. So now we can Entomb for the Worldgorger Dragon. Now we can play the Agadeem's Awakening, paying 3 life, and reanimate the Worldgorger Dragon from our graveyard. Now the way this combo works is it's going to keep flickering my lands. As the Agadeem's Awakening when flickered is actually a sorcery and cannot be put on the battlefield, I will only get my Underground Sea back. But this doesn't matter, because I can just float 1 black mana. Eventually I'll float enough mana to cast both of my Orcish Bowmasters, and I will continuously loop the Enter the Battlefield trigger from the Orcish Bowmaster to deal 1 damage to ultimately kill the opponent. And this worked here. Going into boarding, as we do see that they play a load of artifacts, we want Serenities in, and not much else. I was mixing around a load of sideboard cards, but Serenity's the card that we need here. Now going into game 2, as the opponent is a combo deck, I need to have some sort of way to either reanimate a big bomb, or interact with their combo, which is why I mulligan down to 5. And this 5 is the actual Stone Cold Nuts. This is a turn 1 kill. I'm going to Dark Ritual, Entomb, put the Worldgorger Dragon into my graveyard, reanimate the Worldgorger Dragon, and then I get infinite mana with the infinite loops, with my basic swamp, put the Orcish Bowmasters into play and win. Leyline in the Void in the opening hand for the opponent, and we are essentially dead, because we have only a Orcish Bowmaster, and surprisingly, casting that to try and attack the opponent for lethal did not work. For the whole game I did try to hold up the reanimation spell in case they milled themselves with Gyruda and whiffed, but of course they never did. Starting game 3, we have an amazing opening hand, again a lot of potential to quickly kill the opponent, and they actually mulligan their hand. But then, yeah, they have the Leyline of the Void. Okay, there's still potential here, because we have the One Ring in our hand, we have the Troll to cycle for a land, we have Snuff Out to interact with them, and we can grief them and take their best card. Seeing they have an Urza Saga, Chalice, Mox Opal, Azorius Signet, I decide to take the Chalice the Void here, which may be potentially wrong, because we are scared of the Urza Saga, but a Chalice the Void on 1 can definitely disrupt us, and I want to draw something like a Dark Ritual to get this One Ring on the table fast as possible. What's good though is after cycling the Troll to get a Scrubland to find Serenity, we find an Ancient Tomb off the top of the deck, which will help us slam this One Ring next turn. With the opponent just playing the Urza Saga and the Azorius Signet, we're hoping that this One Ring can actually draw us something impactful. After slamming the One Ring, our dream does come true and we find a Shieldred off the top. This is the perfects here because Shieldred will gain us life when we draw cards with the One Ring and will slowly chip away at the opponent's life every time they take a draw step. A slight problem is that the opponent has a second Urza Saga, but we should be able to gain a lot of life here and we can find multiple copies of the One Ring to keep giving ourselves protection if they do get a big board of constructs. With just a Dauthi Voidwalker and a Chrome Mox off the top, we gotta play the Dauthi, and again, let's hope that they don't add too much pressure. What I'm really worried about here though is a Pithy Needle on the One Ring, as that will just instantly kill us. But to my surprise, they just make a construct and find a Lion's Eye Diamond with the Saga. They are seemingly a combo deck, so it makes sense they don't play Pithy Needle in the 75. Now the only problem here is that these constructs are massive, and after drawing with my draw step and with the ring, I kind of have nothing. The line that I came up with is I just gotta play my Troll and hope that it gets there, but obviously the opponent can just make a construct, and if they have multiple artifacts in hand, they'll have exactly lethal. Don't forget here to attack with the Dauthi Voidwalker, it does have Shadow, so it can't block. Now the Shieldred deals 2 damage to them in their draw step, but because they have multiple artifacts in hand, can make a construct and an artifact from the Urza Saga, we are sadly dead. There was a chance we could have done something this game if they didn't have that extra artifact, because we did find the ring as the last card on the top of the deck, but again, the ring making us lose life lost us the match. Moving on to the next match, in Game 2 against Delver, I had a really cool opening 7 in Game 2. And this is because we can start off by griefing the opponent, pitching a Troll, and then we can either Dark Ritual Thoughtseize and reanimate the grief, or Dark Ritual cycle the Troll and reanimate the Troll. Don't forget, a 5/5 that can only be blocked by 3 or more creatures is very difficult to kill out of Death Shadow, especially in Legacy when their only removal is Snuff Out. Seeing their hand, I think it's clear here we just want to take the Force of Negation, reanimate the Troll, and essentially win the game. I assume that they're playing something like 1 or 2 copies of Brazen Borrower, or a way to bounce or destroy an enchantment, but that's going to be unlikely to be off the top of the deck. Anyways, I mean, again, this creature can only be blocked by 3 or more creatures, so just keep attacking. Not really much my opponent could have done. They play a Murktide Regent. Again, that card cannot block, so I'll keep attacking, and they eventually concede the game. Going into Game 3, I had a really tough choice with my opening hand. Going into Game 3, with a no black source opening hand, sure we have Dark Ritual, but you have to rip off the top of the deck. It's just not worth it. Then my second opening hand, okay, sure, it's playable, but I cast double Thoughtseize against my opponent, and then what am I planning to do? I just thought this hand just really does nothing and dies to a lot of Murktide draws, as well as any Thoughtseize the opponent plays. They can mana screw me, so I thought it's just a mulligan and try to find something better. And this is a bit better. I mean, I've got an Entomb to try and combo, a Grief to disrupt the opponent's hand, a One Ring if I find a Dark Ritual Ancient Tomb. But yeah, it's just not great, isn't it? After cycling the Troll and getting a Swamp, I'm going to Grief the opponent to try and take a Force of Will out of their hand so we can rip an Ancient Tomb off the top so we can cast the One Ring. I see they've got double Wasteland and a Thoughtseize. I've got to take the Thoughtseize because that does get rid of my One Ring. Now we've got to hope to rip. They Wasteland me, I do Entomb for the Atraxa in case we draw a Reanimation spell, but we are a beast and find a Dark Ritual. And with the opponent not having a counter for the One Ring, this can easily run away with the game. Now we have Atraxa in the graveyard, we can draw one of our big bombs like Reanimation spells, or just try to combo the opponent, or find a Shieldred, find an Orcish Bowmaster. There's a load of things we can do here to easily win. But with a Brazen Borrower in hand, we don't even draw with the One Ring because we can't put a counter on it, so we're basically dead. And to end the video, I lost in 2 games, yes, I didn't even win 1 game, to the most random pile of creatures I've ever seen, with the opponent having triple Wasteland game 2, and a Collector Roof to turn off my 1 ring, and this weird dog to prevent, like, things coming back from the graveyard and me casting these from the graveyard. I just lost. It was just really random. It was some Frodo Baggins deck. I don't know, maybe it's taken over Legacy. That's for you lot to work out. Hope you guys all enjoyed. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.